It's recording now.
Look at that.
Who's doing the intro? You want to finally
I mean,
break down
clearly
and do it?
it's Megan's podcast. Why would we do it?
You know what? I think I'd like to do the intro today.
Why are you speaking in this kind of voice?
That's my weatherman voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Maryland Living Podcast. I'm John Reynolds. I'm here with my colleagues, Pete FETTIG and birthday girl, Megan Berg.
Yeah. Tomorrow
is your 72nd birthday.
Wait, this started out so well. What happened?
I can only go so far.
That's why
I'm not going to
to
share
You don't need to
how
share.
many years, but
39.
You're young at heart.
She told me.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, it's 39.
No, but I'm excited because we've got a really fun-filled weekend planned.
You've got family in.
I do, but it doesn't have anything to do with my birthday.
Sure it does. Don't kid yourself.
My son is in Matilda at Theater in the Park in Severna Park. So we're going to be celebrating him all weekend.
And they had a performance, right?
Last night they had their first performance. And for those that are not familiar with Theater in the Park, it is just a really cool... it's just a really cool production that they do for the kids. So they break it up into different ages. There's the younger crowd, like under 8. My son is in the 8 to 12-year-old range,
Nice.
and then there's teenagers. And so this is Matilda Jr., so it's a musical. And I love theater anyway. I grew up doing theater in Maine. So
Did you really?
I did. You didn't know this?
I don't think I knew.
Oh, I was
didn't
Tigger
either.
in Winnie the Pooh. I mean, it was my debut performance.
Do you remember any of your lines?
I do, but
Tigger's the one that he bounced on his tail.
He
How did
did.
you do that?
And she's a cat hater on top of that.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat hater.
I know.
But anyway.
Is Tigger your favorite 100-acre wood creature?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tigger.
I would say so.
And is
But-
Theater in the Park, that's a theater in a park, is that correct?
No, it's actually, they rehearse at the community center.
Okay.
And then on Monday, the production moved to the community college, Anne Arundel Community College,
Yeah, I
which
was
has
trying
a
to get
really great
sense
venue.
of where it was.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he had his first play last night. He wasn't sure if he wanted to continue to do theater, but he came off the stage and was like, I'm ready for the next production.
He wants to be just like Mom.
Good for him. I mean,
That's
it
awesome.
sounds like
Yeah.
maybe he's found his wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mostly because I would love to just sit and watch these productions. So it'll be
that's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Really cool.
And he's into it. That's huge. Yeah.
So that's how I'm spending my weekend. What about you guys?
Got a lot of house projects and
Got a lot of.
date day with wifey because, I never see her anymore with her work schedule. So.
Yeah.
She's had to go back to work to the office
and this
full time.
what we're going to talk about today was a big issue too.
Oh, really?
The whole fire. Oh yeah,
Oh.
it shut down the train.
That's true.
Oh.
That's true.
You guys are really, we're all really busy with work, with real estate. There's a lot going
definitely.
on.
It's amazing how busy suddenly we
Just
are.
drinking from a fire hose after
it's-
Yeah.
a little water fountain.
Just trying to stay in front of it all. It's great.
Yep.
It's great that sellers are selling and that buyers who've been on the fence are now jumping off the fence.
Very active.
I actually had a unique experience this morning showing someone a property. We looked at 3 townhomes, and it had been, I don't remember the last time, and even the buyer that I have made the comment that they're like, there's not really a lot of competition. So there are 3 houses. They're like, which one do we like? And that
you might get
hasn't
to look
happened.
at it twice, which hasn't.
No.
I mean, that hasn't happened for years.
Yeah.
I think, no crystal ball, guys, but I really think that pendulum, which has been stuck over on the seller side all through COVID, might finally be
It's been pivoting.
swinging.
Well, it's 4% on average that
Yeah.
we're seeing kind of dribbling each week, and that's a lot actually.
It is.
It's exciting.
Yep.
It's kind of exciting. I'm happy for these buyers because
Definitely.
they get some choices now instead of just...
And we get to negotiate instead of just like,
And
here's the
that's
deadline.
my favorite part of the job is
I know.
being able to negotiate, and we just haven't been able to.
Yeah.
We just kind of make up some numbers and
Hope for the best and say
See
if
if
it
they
doesn't work
fly
this
and-
time, you know
yeah.
what you need to do next time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's good for everybody.
the not a downside, but I think the reality that so many sellers are going to have to face is that, okay, so maybe their house isn't going to sell in a weekend, and maybe there aren't going to be
We're
10,
still seeing
15
that, but-
offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think-
think it's
I think
going to
those-
shift more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Which again, that's for the better.
I think so.
Well, we all do have a fun weekend planned, it sounds like. I know I do. You guys are going to be working, but You know what? One thing I do actually want to be doing this weekend is, did you guys see, is it Point? I think it's called Point Lookout in St. Mary's is opening back up.
Lookout Lighthouse, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's the oldest integral lighthouse in Maryland.
What is an integral lighthouse, Megan?
You know, it's funny you should ask that. It's a lighthouse that actually is connected to a house, like a dwelling. Yeah.
Full-time caretaker.
I don't know how long it's been closed, but it is reopened today. Yeah. May 15th.
Absolutely.
Back up, so.
Absolutely. And I'll link a picture in the show notes, but it's literally this old white house with a lighthouse sticking out of the top of it.
Which is cool.
And that makes it the oldest integral lighthouse in the country.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about this because I have a little family history of my own to share regarding lighthouses. Do you know that my great-grandfather, was the last person to ever physically man a lighthouse in Maine?
Really?
Yeah.
I would have no frame of reference.
I never knew that.
I am wild.
So there is an island off the coast of Maine called Monhegan.
You know, Pete, you think you know someone.
You think you know someone.
And then they tell you that their grandfather manned a lighthouse.
Drop a bomb on you.
I told you I had something
we need to
interesting.
rethink our entire relationship.
It was your great.
No. So it was my grandmother's father.
Okay.
They lived in the lighthouse, and so it was an integral
wild.
lighthouse.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They lived
Good
in the
tie-in.
lighthouse.
Yeah.
There were 4 children, and he had to physically light
rotate
it
the light
every day. Yeah.
wow.
And now obviously they've all moved to solar or
AI.
maybe electric. But he on that lighthouse on Monhegan,
That's crazy.
which is a really small little community. The lighthouse is still there, and there's still a lot of people that live on the island. A lot of lobstermen.
Cool.
Anyway, I know this is a podcast about Maryland, but
No, that's an awesome tie-in.
That's a nice
though.
tie-in.
Because I didn't even
Yeah.
know what an integral lighthouse was until today.
well, we were talking about it when we were preparing for the podcast, and I was like, oh, and John's like, why? Looking at me like, why are you so excited about this lighthouse?
And she said, let's save it for the podcast.
I did, yeah.
Cool. Now we know that you have
A hidden secret.
lighthouse blood running through those veins. So yeah, just to put a point on that, the historic Point Lookout Lighthouse is reopening today for tours after extensive renovations. This is a win for historical preservation and tourism way down in St. Mary's County. And it will allow the public to once again experience this significant landmark.
Cool.
It's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the kids down this summer and check it out for
I think
sure.
that'd be a great field trip.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
They should
That's really
VRBO it, let you stay there.
Oh, they should.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, that kind of freaks me out a little bit.
You need some blackout shades. I know that.
What if it's haunted?
Did any of you see that movie? I think it's called The Lighthouse. It was a
No.
movie out a few years ago. It was.
I felt like I knew the ending.
I'll edit this out of the podcast. But it's just this creepy movie. The 2 guys, Willem Dafoe and some other guy. It's in black and white.
Oh.
And something I don't remember. I might have been hammered when I watched it.
I was thinking, what could make it worse? Black and white. There we go.
But like I think they
Can we make this a
I think
worse
they
movie?
slowly go insane in the lighthouse.
Shocker.
Kind of like The Shining.
Sort of, but it's in a
Okay.
lighthouse.
I love The Shining.
That's a good movie.
I went to
It
that
is.
hotel
Did
in
you?
California.
The Stanley, is that
Yep,
what it's
the
called?
Stanley.
Is
Yeah.
it still like open as a hotel?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And we're going to
Absolutely.
edit all of that.
No, I think
out.
it's good information. The listeners want to know.
Do they?
They really do want to know. At least 3 or 4 of them. That's all of them.
Our listener wants to know.
Our listener.
Yeah.
John's
one
mom
listener.
would love to know.
Hey, my mom listens too.
Oh, my mom's listened too.
My mom listens.
Not
All my
really.
kids.
Yeah, your kids are diehard listeners.
Because they're great kids.
Yeah.
They just are
And
great kids.
If they want a Christmas, you better do that.
and they
Yeah.
they just support their dad.
Did I tell you guys, and I think we might have talked about it on our last podcast, but my son turned 12.
We're going to talk about it again.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
It's a good story.
Let's rehash it.
Everybody wants to hear about it. But anyway, my son turned 12 in April, and we went back and forth about whether or not we were going to get him a new phone.
Oh,
And
yeah, I remember this.
Yes, I know, because you guys were part of the torturous decision that we had to make, and I was asking everyone's opinion about what to do. But we finally did give him a phone, and within a few minutes of him having the phone, he went to his room, and then I hear something coming out of
it's
his
really
room,
cool.
like people talking. And I'm like, what is he listening to? And I run in there like I'm about to like shut down whatever crazy YouTube he's watching. And it was our podcast.
I still
podcast.
feel like your husband might have put a bug in his ear.
No, not at all. Because my husband barely listens.
Well, I know, but he's like, hey, you know what your mom would really like?
Yeah. You know
Her
how to make
birthday's
mom
coming up.
happy? Yeah.
That's really cool.
No, I think it's fantastic.
It's very cool. He definitely did it all on his
I
own.
think we should tell
so.
that story on every podcast going
Yeah.
forward.
I think we'll start every podcast that way.
Yeah.
And I wonder- he's
hey, in
probably
case you
aware-
missed it last time, and then you tell the story.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
cool.
Because we want everyone to hear it. So shout out to Aiden for.
Absolutely.
Shout out to
And he
Aiden.
probably knows
Yeah.
mom's superpower too.
Oh my
It's her laugh.
It's definitely that laugh.
Yeah.
He probably wanted to hear that more. So while he was away from you,
Yeah, right. Yeah. He doesn't want to hear the sound of my voice. But
that's
What else do
awesome.
we have, guys?
well, I mean, something pretty significant happened in Baltimore.
The
Big time.
the big mattress,
warehouse
Yeah.
fire. It burned for like 12 hours,
Great.
24 hours. It was
7
more than-
alarm.
7 alarm. When I was leaving our
It was over
office
12
here
hours,
at Keller
yeah.
Williams flagship, going up 97 to hop on the Baltimore Beltway,
Yep.
you could see it like
Oh.
it was a huge black cloud. And I called my wife to see if she knew what was going on. She turned on the news 2 miles from where I live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the only good thing, there's not a lot of good out of this,
I
obviously.
know the only
but
good thing.
There is one good. I'll get my mattress. I can get a Tempur-Pedic in a reduced
yeah,
price
yeah.
because
A
of
fire
all
sale.
The smoke. Yep.
Oh.
Get a smoked out Tempur-Pedic finally for a good price. No.
no,
cut that
no,
too.
Yeah,
nothing-
it'll smell bad.
You're not breathing anything toxic.
No, it was
in, but-
horrible though.
So it was on Edmondson Avenue
Yep.
and
North Bentaloo Street.
okay, thank you because I couldn't read that word. Yeah.
Yeah.
On Monday. So yeah, that's crazy.
I knew by 10 a.m. the next Tuesday morning it was a two alarm fire still. Like that was not contained. So this is
Yeah.
a major fire event.
It reached 7 alarm status. It required response of over 200 firefighters.
Insane.
It was crazy.
The warehouse was filled, as Pete said, with mattresses, which of course are highly flammable, and they produce that thick black toxic smoke
Yeah.
that I could see from the highway.
You're probably still breathing it at home too.
What's that?
You're probably still breathing that at home too.
I probably am, but
gosh.
Can't be great.
I probably can't tell the
Lawsuit.
difference.
The rain helped actually. We had
But
a
they
lot of rain.
did have to
That knocks it out.
if you saw it on the news, you saw that the warehouse was burning, but then there's a row of row houses right in front, and they had to vacate all of those people. 30 residents from 15 nearby households were temporarily evacuated, and happening now still, the Red Cross is providing them with temporary housing and
Oh,
support.
good.
The big thing is that it backed up the railroads.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah.
My wife couldn't get to work, and nobody could get to work who use the MARC train.
Yeah.
They were
Amtrak-
worried the building was going to collapse on. That's
On
the whole
tracks.
issue. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Amtrak service on the Northeast Corridor between Wilmington, Delaware, and D.C. was halted.
Yep.
The Maryland Transit Administration canceled the MARC commuter rail service on its Penn line on Tuesday. Is that what your wife?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the
Most
one.
all of her team had to work from home.
Yeah. While some rail service has been restored, there are still delays. And the concerns about the building stability near the tracks. I mean, it's still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
That's a major fire.
Well, the real good news, other than Pete thinks he can now get a cheap mattress,
Tempur-Pedic.
is that there were no injuries or no
know.
deaths.
Which is unbelievable.
I mean, that's the
probably
good
because it
thing.
happened late enough that the warehouse was closed. I would think there probably
Yeah.
weren't workers,
Yeah.
but
And
and who
apparently-
started it? How did it start?
Well, that's the thing. It's under
Yeah.
investigation. They're not sure. I was watching the news last night. They haven't ruled out arson, so they're looking into that. One of the reasons, though, that it became a 7 alarm fire, the firefighters encountered challenges with the local water grid.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
As the 6-inch water mains in the residential area where the warehouse is, they're just not built to handle the demand of a fire that size.
Yep.
So additional resources were brought in to access water from larger
They had
mains.
all
Okay.
the pump trucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And as Megan said, fortunately, there were no injuries.
That is
Yeah.
really surprising because that's a major fire event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
7 alarms.
Yep.
That's crazy. I can't believe you could see it from 97.
You could see it from 97, and then you could see it from my back deck. You could see just the
Wow.
black,
Yeah.
black clouds.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, on that happy note,
Well, it's happy because Pete's going to get his discounted mattress, and there were no injuries.
this is true.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is true.
You always have to look for the bright side of things.
Well, there is.
And you're really good at that.
I'm great
buddy.
at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the glass is
half full.
Yep.
Just life I live.
No sarcasm at all.
None.
None.
Tongue in cheek. None of that.
All right. Well, there is a happy event happening next week.
Do tell.
We've got the Blue Angels, and
Yes,
this is probably the third.
You love the Blue Angels
Can you
so
tell?
much. Yeah, can
You should
definitely
go out on
tell.
a boat and watch them.
I know. I
That's
was
the best way
invited
to do
out
it.
on a boat, but
Go for it. You answered your phone?
no. I've got family coming to town, so
Yeah.
we're
Take
gonna
them.
go watch
They'll
it.
love hanging out with a bunch of realtors.
Are you going to watch
We're
the
either
Blue
going to watch it
Angels?
from we're going to watch the Blue Angels. We're either going to watch it from the Naval Academy. For those that haven't been, I mean, the Naval Academy is such a great spot.
Yeah.
We're going to watch it from Manresa, though, which is a retirement community on the water, which is great. They do like food trucks and
Cool.
stuff like that. And I know this is probably the third or fourth time I've mentioned it on the podcast, but I did think of something else and something we're going to do. And this seems really dorky, actually, now that I think about it. But there is a really good documentary on Prime about the pilots.
Oh, that's cool.
From the Blue Angels and just like everything that they go through, all the training that they do. And so I am going to.
It's really good.
It's really
Yeah.
good. A woman who lives in my
Just
neighborhood.
the photography. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Her father-in-law
Anything Blue Angels
is
is
the
cool.
older gentleman. I can't remember his name,
Really?
but he
Okay.
is he's kind of
Captain.
the captain. Yeah. So
Don't
anyway,
guess.
I'm going to torture my children and make them all watch it before we go watch the Blue Angels.
They'll
'cause-
love it.
Frame of
The
reference
kids will
would be
love
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
A little
fun.
history.
But no,
Cool.
you don't have to worry because after next week, I won't talk about the Blue Angels again for another year. So
Will it be that long?
it will
I feel like
be.
you're going to recap what you
I think so.
experienced.
You know what?
She will.
I
We're gonna,
will.
we're
She'll
gonna,
give
we're
us a
gonna need it because
debrief
we
of the
can't be
Blue
there.
Angels.
So.
Absolutely. Well, guess what, gang?
What? Tell us.
One of our trusted colleagues, Eric Kolosh,
Oh yeah.
walked into our office last week and very randomly said, "Hey guys, guess which state has the highest number of horses per square mile in the country?" And it's Maryland.
Crazy.
It
Who
is
would have
crazy.
thunk?
Who
We
would
got a
have
horse
thunk?
farm coming up.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So
But
that's
I
right.
I would never have guessed that.
I
Yeah.
I
would
would have definitely been
never.
Midwest. Midwest for sure.
Like Wyoming.
Per square
Yeah.
mile, we have more than any other state. Now, there are certainly states that have more
horses, but
per
yeah.
square mile.
But that's still
It's
shocking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind
Now,
of
check
cool.
out this segue.
Okay.
The Preakness Stakes is happening.
No way.
Yeah, the
Wow.
second.
Is that
in Pimlico?
That's Pimlico, hon. the second jewel of the Triple Crown is
Yep.
happening on the 17th. And interestingly, this is the 150th running of the Preakness Stakes, and it's going to be the last one
In the current facility.
at Pimlico the way it
Right.
is, because
Yeah.
shortly after the race, they're tearing the whole thing down
Yeah.
and rebuilding it.
Allegedly.
And it, well,
Did you say allegedly?
he said
Allegedly.
allegedly, and we'll have to.
Yeah, Baltimore's in
that
control,
out.
so this could all.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's the Maryland Stadium Authority handling it, so it'll get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, that's cool.
It is cool. So, with that in mind, I thought for our listener, I would give them a little history of Pimlico.
Yeah.
Perk your
Let's
ears
do
up.
it.
So, first of all, I want to hear Megan say it.
No,
Just
do
say
I
it.
do this to me?
Say it.
Okay, you say it first.
Okay, there's Pimlico,
Pimlico.
or if you want to be local, you say Pimlico.
I can't even.
Yeah, you
Do-
can. You're
Yeah,
really
you,
good.
you totally nailed it before.
Pimlico.
No,
Pimlico.
Pimlico. You gotta
Pimlico.
go. Ew. It's on the
Pimlico.
ew.
Got to flatten that O.
Pimlico.
Pimlico.
There you go. So
I'm never doing that again.
the Pimlico Racecourse is the second oldest racetrack in the United States behind Saratoga, which I believe is up in New York, right? It was built by the Maryland Jockey Club in 1743.
Wow.
The inaugural race, no, I'm correcting myself.
Okay.
And I will edit this
Our
out.
listener will if you
The
don't.
Maryland Jockey Club was formed in 1743.
on short order.
Okay.
The inaugural race
Oh
of
my gosh, you're a dork.
that was good in short order.
On short order. Is there,
The first race was a 2-mile event won by a horse named Preakness.
Oh.
I was going to guess Pimlico.
That was on October 25th, 1870. The iconic Preakness Stakes, now the second leg of the Triple Crown, was named in honor of that first winner. Does anyone know the nickname for Pimlico?
Pim.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't even think of it.
Old Hilltop.
Oh, that was right on the tip of my tongue.
I know
That
it
was my
The track
guess.
earned this affectionate nickname due to a small rise in the infield that was a popular gathering spot for trainers and fans. The hill was removed in 1938 for better camera visibility.
That's shisty.
Inquiring minds want to know.
What's the
And so
drink?
they're going to be moving to Laurel, right?
For a
Temporarily.
year or so.
Yeah.
And they're going to redo Pimlico, make it better than it was before. It's a $500 million state investment. And they're
Wow.
going to turn it into a year-round world-class racing and community destination.
Have you been there before?
I have many
Okay.
times. Never to see a race, though.
Oh, what were you doing there?
There used to be a music festival there called the HF Festival.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's-
makes
And
sense.
we went there a few times. I went with my sister, went with my sons. But I saw the Police there. I saw the Beastie Boys there. I saw Amy Winehouse there.
Ooh,
yeah,
cool.
it was very good. But check this out. Right now, they only run 15 racing events a year,
Oh,
and they're going to bump that up to 100.
cool.
So
Nice.
that'll be a big difference because like we were down at Laurel Park.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
that's
had
really
no
nice.
idea how
I
much.
love that place.
I can see why people get addicted to that so quickly. I'm like, let's go do it again.
Right, but they're always racing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that up in Baltimore at
Right.
Pimlico.
Okay. Which is crazy. But now that they're going to be
Now
putting
they're
all this
going to
money.
be. Yeah. so
I
that'll
remember,
be
do you
good.
remember when we were there and I think I said to you, we're like working and this is going on.
Yeah,
There's
well-
races
While
going.
we're
Yeah.
doing podcasts, while we're selling houses, while we're training new
There's
agents,
Horse races are going on.
there are people betting on horse races
Weird.
right down the road.
So weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. So racing is expected to return full time to the new Pimlico in 2027. So we will keep our eyes open for that. Maybe we'll do a podcast from
Let's do
the
it.
new Pimlico.
Maryland Living Podcast
Yeah.
at Pimlico. That was good.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was
Thank
good.
you.
You're getting the
Thanks.
No
hang
prompting.
of it. You're getting the hang of it. I'm really proud of you, Megan.
Thank you.
Birthday girl.
Tomorrow.
Some
It is
car
tomorrow.
stuff, EV, electric vehicles.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too much into it today.
Did you say boo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Give me my engine.
I mean, basically, obviously, we know that the electric car world, people are purchasing electric cars, and we need more charging stations. There's some recent laws and funding that's kind of going into place in Maryland to try to get more of those charging stations. And then, of course, I think there really is a goal to just completely eliminate gas vehicles by 2035. And there's been some movement with California, but it was just voted down that they're not going to allow that. So
Yeah.
well, I'll share more on the next podcast. There's a lot to it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Maryland is very heavily involved in that just because we've got so many more people purchasing electric cars right now. So
Very good. Yeah, that'd be interesting to watch and see how that plays out.
yeah.
Got anything else?
Well, let's do a little real estate update. I mean, I know we talked a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
we are definitely seeing a change in inventory.
Yep. For the positive.
Seeing an
Yeah.
increase in inventory. We're seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer.
A little bit,
Couple
yeah.
days, yeah.
We're seeing more price reductions,
hmm
which we probably need, I guess.
Someone asked me today when I was showing a house, like, what are my personal predictions of housing values, and do we see them dropping, and interest rates? And I just, my answer to that was, hopefully the rates come down, but I think we're going to be here for a while.
Yep.
And then, in terms of values, I think we're probably going to be staying pretty steady for a while.
I think we'll see a little stabilization. Right now, they're being sort of inflated because we're still dealing with lack of demand, or lack of supply, inventory, plenty of demand. But as that balance shifts, then there won't be those artificially pushed up prices by your supply and demand factors. And it'll be more of just maybe it'll 2%. That's a guess, but instead of 4 to 6, we might finally balance that out a little lower.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And
you're right.
that'll be good for everybody. I mean, you still want to see it's a great investment, but you don't want these continue to push up to unaffordability, which is what we're dealing with in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and typically what we've seen in the past is when interest rates go up, pricing comes down because you have to maintain some level of affordability.
Right.
However, that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
For years and years.
Right. I mean, throughout COVID,
Yeah.
we saw, if you compare interest rates now to interest rates at the onset of COVID,
Yeah.
what, 3-4 times higher,
Yeah.
but that didn't impact pricing.
Right.
Prices still went up because of scarcity.
Basic supply and demand factor.
So I think,
Yep.
I think we'll be looking, I think we've said it before, I think in the coming months, we're going to start to see a much more balanced, healthy real estate market.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing that echo from that real estate summit that we went to a few
Right.
weeks ago. 2026 is to be the year of the realtor.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
You know, I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel out talking to people, but I feel like the conversations that I'm having is less people are feeling like they want to hold on to their lower interest rates. I think everyone is sort of coming to the realization that
Right.
this is where we're going to be.
Well,
And if you want to move, you should do that regardless of the rate.
And it doesn't kill you to buy down points, for a couple thousand. You
Yeah.
get to like
True.
6, and then you know that you're gonna, you're gonna refinance when those rates finally hit that like 100 basis points. When it makes sense to, and it will happen, but it might be a couple of years, really.
Yeah.
And we do this for a living, so we're looking at all of these nerdy statistics every day, but we all know that in our lifetimes we will probably never see
We never should have.
a 2.65% interest rate
Yeah.
again.
That's cheaper than money. Like
It's ridiculous.
That's
it was
exactly
free.
what I said to my clients today.
But for
was-
the buying public who aren't nerds about real
Right.
estate like we are, it takes a while for that messaging to sink in.
Yeah.
And I think they finally
You need
realize
distance
that.
from it too.
Right.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you just look at what our team has happening just this weekend, I think we have 5, 6, 7 open houses
Oh, yeah.
all
Right.
happening concurrently.
Yep.
Yeah.
New
And that-
listings.
That's been unheard of
Yeah.
in the recent
Yep.
past.
Yeah. It's
So
exciting.
We welcome it.
yeah.
Yep.
It kind of feels like riding a bike. I love being this busy.
I
Yeah.
know.
love
I know. Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
Yep.
It's exciting. It's fun. I love getting out there and doing it.
yeah,
so.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do too. One thing I wanted to mention is our favorite band, Mallow Hill,
Sweet.
is going to be performing at the Sagamore Spirit Delivery at the Baltimore Peninsula
Nice.
on Saturday, May 17th at 1 p.m. So if you like good live music, good blues rock, please come out and visit Mallow Hill at the Sagamore Spirit Distillery in South Baltimore.
Nice.
It should be it's a great spot. It's on the waterfront.
Yeah.
Some
it
good
is a
restaurants
nice-
there.
It's a nice spot. Yep.
Yeah.
And didn't you see Mallow Hill over Mother's Day weekend?
Yeah, we went to see it wasn't the full band, it was the trio. So it was the guitarist, the bass player, and the singer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And it was at Bordy Vineyards up in
Yes.
Hydes. And if you've never been to Bordy Vineyards, it's an amazing venue.
You sent the team a video, and it
Yeah.
looked really fun.
It was my wife and my daughter and I, and we brought a blanket, we brought some munchies, we bought a couple bottles of wine. Place was packed, family, kid friendly. It was
Yeah.
great. It was a lot
I'd
That's
of
say
a
fun.
great-
from our restaurant years, I think Bordy's probably the most famous Maryland vineyard.
I think you're right.
I know there's others, but that one always has been like the premier, like
Yeah.
the one that originated, I guess.
There's the one Linganore.
Linganor's another. They're big, but
Out of Mount
I still
Airy.
think Bordy was around earlier. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but
They
from
were-
our
I'm
restaurant years at least.
They were around when I was working like at Clyde's.
That's what I mean.
Back in
I
the
remember
80s,
that
90s.
when I was 18. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
30 years ago. Good Lord.
Well, shout out to Bordy's, and we should link their website
We
in
will.
the show notes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get more
Absolutely.
And
people
Mallow
out
Hill.
there. I'm so bummed. A couple
Yep.
years ago, a friend of mine had a bridal shower there, and I wasn't able to go. And I can't. I've never been before,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to.
We walked into like the main barn. I think it's a
That's a
converted
total
barn,
wedding venue
and
right there.
it's-
Yeah.
Well, I walked in, my youngest daughter was with me, and I'm like, you know what? You should have your wedding reception here.
Oh.
Yeah.
She didn't appreciate it. But, yeah. Yeah, but it
Probably
would
especially since she's not considering getting married or
Yeah.
anything.
be no time soon, as far as I
Pump your
know.
brakes.
You've already
Dad.
got it all figured
Yeah.
out.
Unless she's keeping a secret. Anyway.
I'm not sure dads are the best at choosing wedding venues, but hey, I think maybe in this case you might have nailed it. So.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so.
Cool. Well, that sounds great. That sounds like a perfect way to spend Mother's Day. So
It was. It was a
Good.
really nice day. And today's going to be a really nice day as soon as we wrap up this podcast. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think we've covered a lot.
We have covered a
And
lot.
then just a little bit more.
Pete, you got anything?
I got nothing. I'm excited for these discuss these car changes and how much EVs suck next time.
Well, that's
my
true
gosh.
too. That's true. So until next time, thank you all for listening.
Yeah, and don't forget about the mailbag, Pete.
Oh yeah, hit us in the mailbag.
Hit us in the
Always
mailbag.
hit us in the mailbag.
The mail satchel's always open for your input.
We have gotten some questions lately, so we should do another episode of questions because that's always fun.
Yeah,
too.
Snowy McDuff came back to us too
my
from Alaska. I can't believe it.
So make sure you comment, send us some questions in the mailbag. You can find us on Instagram at Maryland Living Podcast. You can find us on Facebook.
We're everywhere. We're everywhere a podcast could possibly
We
be.
really are.
So please subscribe, like, share, send your feedback, send us a message in the show notes. We love to hear from you. And until next time, that's it.
It's a wrap.